Hello students. In the last video, we have talked about nucleosides and nucleotides. And today we are going to talk about a new topic and its name is primary and secondary metabolite. Okay, our new topic is primary and secondary metabolite. And a table is also given in the textbook, and that table has examples of secondary metabolite. Okay, the table which has been given in the textbook has example of the secondary metabolite that I have already written on the right side of the board. So we will discuss what is primary and secondary metabolite first, and then we will see the examples of secondary metabolite. So let's see examples. What is the difference between primary metabolites and secondary metabolites. What is primary metabolite and what is secondary metabolites? Primary metabolites are those substances which are very essential for growth and development of plant. Primary metabolites are those substances which are very essential for growth and development of plant. Primary metabolites play vital role and they play direct role in growth and development. They have vital and direct role in growth and development of plant. Whereas secondary metabolites do not play a direct role in growth and development of plant. They have indirect role in growth and development of plant. So they are less important for growth and development. Okay, this is the main difference between primary metabolite and secondary metabolite. Okay, please remember this key difference, then you can understand the whole topic well. What is primary metabolite? Primary metabolite is a substance which has a vital role, a key role in the growth and development of plant. It has direct role in the growth and development of plant. Whereas secondary metabolite is that substance which does not have direct role, and it is having indirect role in growth and development of plant, so it is less important for growth and development of plant. Okay, so what we will write over here, primary metabolite is that substance which plays which plays a vital role in growth and development of plant. Okay, plays a vital role in growth and development of plant. Okay, whereas secondary metabolite is that substance which has indirect role in growth and development of plant. Okay, it has indirect role for growth and development of plant. Okay, sure. Then primary metabolites. Examples, we will talk about examples of primary metabolite. Examples of primary metabolites are carbohydrates, proteins, lipids, nucleic acid. Okay, these are examples of primary metabolite. And examples of secondary metabolites are written over here. Examples of secondary metabolites are written over here. Okay, so we will discuss that later. But carbohydrate, protein, nucleic acid and lipid are the primary metabolites, and these all are secondary metabolites. So without carbohydrate, protein, lipid and nucleic acid, plant cannot grow and it cannot develop. In fact, it cannot survive also. Okay, in the absence of carbohydrate, protein, lipids and nucleic acid, plant is unable to survive. Okay, whereas in the absence of secondary metabolite, plant can survive. In the absence of secondary metabolite, plant can survive. But in the absence of primary metabolite, it cannot grow, it cannot develop, as well as it cannot survive. Okay, so I'm not writing that point over here, that in the absence of primary metabolite, plants will die, they will not be able to survive. Whereas in the absence of secondary metabolite, plants can survive. Plants can survive in the absence of secondary metabolite. That you can write by your own. I'm not writing on the board, okay, because of the less space. So, in the absence of carbohydrate, protein, lipids, and nucleic acid, plant is unable to survive. Whereas in the absence of secondary metabolite, plants can easily survive. Okay, sure. Then primary metabolites are never toxic. They are never toxic. Primary metabolites are never toxic. Whereas some of the secondary metabolites are toxic. Some are toxic. Some are toxic. Okay. Primary metabolites are never toxic, whereas some of the secondary metabolites are toxic. Then what we'll say next? Primary metabolites are present in abundant quantities. Primary metabolites are present in abundant quantities or in large quantities. Whereas secondary metabolites are present in less amount in plants. So they are present in large quantities. Large quantities. They are present in large quantities in plants and they are present in less quantities. They are present in less quantities in plants. Okay, the amount of primary metabolites is very high in plant body, whereas amount of secondary metabolite is very less, very little in plant's body. Okay, so their concentration is very high in plant's body and their concentration is less in plant's body. Okay, so next point will be, as their concentration is very high in plant's body, we can easily extract them from plant body. Okay, as the concentration of primary metabolite is very high in plant's body, so we can easily extract them from plant body. Whereas if we want to extract secondary metabolite, then it is a difficult process. If we want to extract them from plant body, then it is a difficult process. Okay, so they are easy to extract, and they are difficult to extract. Okay, difficult to extract. We cannot extract them easily as their concentration is very less in plant's body, but we can easily extract the primary metabolites from the plant's body. Okay, so this is difference between primary and secondary metabolite. If you understand this difference only, then whole topic is clear. Then we have to just remember the examples of secondary metabolite. Okay, so what we have said so far, we said that primary metabolites are those substances which play a vital role in growth and development, and they have direct role in growth and development of the plant, whereas secondary metabolites are those substances which play indirect role in growth and development of plant. Okay, so they are less important for plant body. And examples of primary metabolites are carbohydrate, protein, lipids, and nucleic acid. Whereas examples of secondary metabolites are given over here, and they are given in the textbook also. Okay, in form of table. In form of table, they are given in textbook. Then without primary metabolite, plant is unable to survive. But without secondary metabolite, plant can easily survive. Okay. Then primary metabolites are never toxic in nature, whereas secondary metabolites, some of the secondary metabolites are toxic in nature. Then primary metabolites quantity is very high in plant's body, whereas the quantity of secondary metabolite is very less in plant's body. Then primary metabolites can be extracted easily. We can easily extract the primary metabolite. We can easily extract the primary metabolite from plant's body as their concentration is very high, and extraction of secondary metabolite is difficult as their concentration is very less in plant's body. Okay, so this is all about the primary metabolite and secondary metabolite. I hope you are clear with the fundamentals of the primary and secondary metabolite. Now let's see the examples of secondary metabolite. So some of the secondary metabolites are pigments, alkaloids, terpenoids, essential oil, toxin, lactin, drugs, polymeric substances. Okay, pigments, alkaloids, terpenoids, essential oil, toxin, lactin, drugs, polymeric substances. These are secondary metabolites. Then which pigments are secondary metabolites, like carotenoid and anthocyanin? These pigments are secondary metabolites. See, not all pigments are secondary metabolites. Say for example, chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is a pigment, okay, but chlorophyll is not a secondary metabolite. Chlorophyll is primary metabolite. Okay, here we are talking about those pigments which are secondary metabolite. They are carotenoid and anthocyanin. Then alkaloids are morphine and codeine. They are secondary metabolite. Terpenoids like monoterpene and diterpene. Monoterpene and diterpene are the terpenoids which are secondary metabolite. Then essential oil, example is lemongrass oil. Then toxin, example is heparin and ricin. Then lactins, example is concaveline A. Then drugs ma vinblastine and curcumin, they are secondary metabolites. And polymeric substances, my example che rubber, gum and cellulose. Okay, so these are known as secondary metabolite. Let us revise again. Pigments are, which pigments are secondary metabolite? Carotenoid and anthocyanin. Please remember, all pigments are not secondary metabolite. Alkaloids like morphine and codeine, terpenoids like monoterpene diterpene, essential oil like lemongrass oil, toxin like heparin and ricin, lactins like concaveline A, drugs like vinblastine and curcumin, and polymeric substances like rubber, gum and cellulose. These are known as secondary metabolite. So with this, we have finished the topic of primary and secondary metabolite, and we have seen the example of secondary metabolite. So let me rub the board and then I will explain you about biomacromolecule. We'll talk about biomacromolecule. So students, we have completed the topic of primary and secondary metabolite, and we have seen the examples of secondary metabolite. And now we are going to learn a next topic, a new topic called biomacromolecule. We will talk about biomacromolecule. To understand the topic of biomacromolecule, please try to recollect the mortar-pestle method that we have done in the initial part of this chapter. Okay? In the initial videos of this chapter, we have talked about mortar-pestle method. What is mortar-pestle method? It is a method of chemical analysis through which we can come to know about the organic compounds present in the tissue. Okay? Mortar-pestle method is a method of chemical analysis, and it helps to know about the carbonic compounds present in the tissue. And through mortar-pestle tissue, we were separating the compounds on the basis of acid soluble part or acid insoluble part. Okay, we were separating compounds on the basis of acid soluble part and acid insoluble part. If you can recollect that topic, then in that topic we have drawn a cheesecloth like this. Okay, we have drawn a cheesecloth like this. A cheesecloth was there. On the below that or under that, we have drawn a vessel. Okay, a vessel was there. This was a vessel. Then this was cheesecloth. Okay, cheesecloth was there. Cheesecloth. Okay, or cotton cloth. So on this cheesecloth tissue, we have kept the slurry. Okay, on this cheesecloth we have kept the slurry, and then we have squeezed that slurry. Okay, we have squeezed that slurry. So some of the compounds which were acid soluble, which were acid soluble, they got filtered and they came down into the vessel. As we squeezed this slurry, the acid soluble compounds came down through the cheesecloth and got accumulated in the vessel. Okay, so this vessel has acid soluble compound. Acid soluble compounds were there in the vessel. Whereas on the upper part of the cheesecloth, what was there? Acid insoluble part was there. Acid insoluble part was there on the upper part of the cheesecloth. Okay, so acid insoluble part remained on the cheesecloth, whereas acid soluble part got filtered and came down and got accumulated in the vessel. Okay, this process we have performed previously in the beginning of this video. Okay, now we are going further and we will say that what is the molecular weight of the substances which are present in the vessel. What is the molecular weight of the substances which are present in the vessel, and what is the molecular weight of the substances which remain on the cheesecloth. Okay, what is the molecular weight of the substances which remain on the cheesecloth, and what is the molecular weight of the substances which got filtered and got accumulated in the vessel. So acid soluble substances have a range of molecular weight. Acid substances have a range of molecular weight which is in 18 to 800 Dalton range. The range of molecular weight of acid soluble substances. Range of molecular weight of acid soluble substances is 18 to 800 Dalton. Okay, the range of acid soluble substances is in 18 to 800 Dalton. Okay, what is the range of molecular weight of acid soluble substances? 18 to 800 Dalton. Now, what is the molecular weight of substances which remain above the cheese cloth? So, acid insoluble substances have molecular weight of more than 10,000 Dalton. Molecular weight of more than 10,000 Dalton. Okay, so these substances have high molecular weight, okay, as their molecular weight is more than 10,000 Dalton. And these substances have low molecular weight as the substances which are present in acid soluble fraction has range of 18 to 800 Dalton molecular weight, okay. So these have low molecular weight and these have high molecular weight. Now let's talk about the definition of macromolecule and micromolecule. Definition of macro and micromolecule. Initially, we have gathered the fact. Which fact we have gathered? We have said that the substances which are present in acid soluble fraction has molecular weight, range of molecular weight of 18 to 800 Dalton. Their range is 18 to 800 Dalton. Whereas substances which are present in acid insoluble fraction has more than 10,000 Dalton. These are the facts. Now let's talk about the definition of the macromolecule and micromolecule. Okay, we will talk about the definition of macromolecule and micromolecule. Macromolecule. So a macromolecule is that substance which has molecular weight more than 1000 Dalton. More than 1000 Dalton. Okay, the substance which has molecular weight of more than 1000 Dalton is known as macromolecule. Okay, whereas substance which has molecular weight of less than 1000 Dalton is known as micromolecule. It is known as micromolecule. Okay, so substance which has molecular weight of more than 1000 Dalton is known as macromolecule, and substance which has molecular weight of less than 1000 Dalton is known as micromolecule. So it is obvious that substances which are present in acid insoluble fraction are macromolecule. Okay, substances which are present in acid insoluble fraction are macromolecule. They are known as macromolecule, as their molecular weight has already exceeded 1000 Dalton. In fact, they are more than 10,000 Dalton molecular weight. Okay, so they are macromolecule. And substances which are present in the acid soluble fraction are micromolecule. They are micromolecule. This is clear. This is clear from the understanding. Okay. So what we have said that substances which are present in the acid insoluble fraction are macromolecule as their molecular weight exceeds more than 1000 Dalton. In fact, their molecular weight is more than 10,000 Dalton. And substances which are present in acid soluble fraction are micromolecule as their molecular weight is less than 1000 Dalton and it is in range of 18 to 800 Dalton. Okay. So now let's talk about which substances are present in acid insoluble fraction. Which substances are present in acid insoluble fraction? Substances like proteins, carbohydrates, and nucleic acids are present in acid insoluble fraction. Proteins, carbohydrate and nucleic acids, these are polymeric substances. They are large molecules and they are present in acid insoluble fraction. Okay, proteins, carbohydrate and nucleic acid, they are polymeric substances. They are large substances and they are present in the acid insoluble fraction. Okay, and their molecular weight is more than 10,000 Dalton. Their molecular weight is more than 10,000 Dalton. But here lipid is also present. In the acid insoluble fraction. Okay, along with proteins, carbohydrate and nucleic acid, lipid is also present in acid insoluble fraction, even though its molecular weight is just 800 Dalton. Okay, lipids molecular weight. What is the molecular weight of lipid? Lipid's molecular weight is just 800 Dalton. Lipid's molecular weight is just 800 Dalton, even though it is present in the acid insoluble fraction. Okay, or though its molecular weight is less, but it is present with substances which are having high molecular weight. Okay, though the molecular weight of lipid is low, but it is present with the substances which are having high molecular weight. So how is it possible? If the molecular weight of lipid is low, it should have been filtered down and it should have been accumulated in the vessel. But it did not happen, okay, and it remained in the acid insoluble part. Okay, actually, looking at the molecular weight of the lipid, we find that it should have been filtered and it should have got accumulated in the vessel, but it is not happening. It is remaining with the substances which are having high molecular weight. Okay, so how is it possible? How is it occurring? Okay, why lipids are not present in acid soluble fraction, and why they are found in acid insoluble fraction? Their molecular weight is low, so they should be present with substances which are having low molecular weight. So why they are found with the substances which are having high molecular weight? Okay, so we have to give answer of these questions. We have to give answer of this question, that even though the molecular weight of lipid is less, but they are found with the substances which are having high molecular weight. Why they did not get filtered and why they did not get accumulated in the vessel? Okay, why they remain with the substances which are having high molecular weight? We have to give answer of this question. So we will give answer to that question. Okay, so what we will write a sentence first. We will write a sentence first. Lipids are not polymer. Lipids are not polymer, but they are found with polymers. They are found with polymers. Okay, and molecular weight of lipid is 800 Dalton, but they are found with macromolecules. Why? Okay, we have to give answer of this question. Lipids are not a polymer. Lipids are not polymer, but they are found along with polymers. Why? Okay, then molecular weight of lipid is just 800 Dalton, but they are found with the macromolecules. Why? Okay, so answer to this question is, actually when we grind the tissue in mortar pestle method, okay, when we grind the tissue in mortar pestle method, actually we grind the cells of the tissue. When we grind the tissue, we are actually grinding the cells of the tissue. Okay, say for example, we are grinding these cells. We are grinding these cells with the help of pestle. Okay, so when you grind these cells with the help of pestle, you will break the cell membrane of the cell. Okay, so when we grind this tissue, we will break the cell membrane. Okay, so we will get fragments of the cell membrane. We will get fragments of the cell membrane. Okay, and then these fragments of the cell membrane are made up of phospholipids. These are made up of what? These are made up of phospholipids. Please remember chapter number 8. Cell membrane is made up of what? It is made up of phospholipid. So these fragments of phospholipids are converted into round globules. They are converted into round globules. Okay, these are converted into round globules. Okay, and these round globules will get stuck on the surface of the protein, carbohydrate and lipids. Okay, these round globules, when we break or grind the tissue, we are actually grinding the cell membrane of the tissue or cell membrane of the cell, and then cell membrane of the cell is made up of phospholipid. So when the cell membrane is broken, their fragments are converted into globules. And these globules get attached on the surface of the protein, carbohydrate and nucleic acid, and then they are not filtered during the filtration. They are not filtered during the filtration, and thus they are not found in acid soluble fraction, and they are found in acid insoluble fraction, even though their molecular weight is less. Okay, are you getting this? Actually, they should have been filtered, but they could not be filtered. Why? Because they got stuck, they got attached on the surface of protein, carbohydrate, and nucleic acid during the process, and that's why they are not found in acid soluble fraction, and they are found in acid insoluble fraction. Okay, so answer to this question lies in this process. Answer to this question lies in this process, that when we grind the tissue, we are actually breaking the cell, and we are actually breaking the cell membrane. And when we break the cell membrane, the fragments of the cell membrane are converted into globules, and these globules get attached on the surface of the protein, carbohydrate, and nucleic acid, and then they do not came down during the filtration, and they remain in the upper part of the cheese cloth. So even though the lipids are not polymer, they are found with polymer, and even though their molecular weight is less, but they are found with macromolecule. Okay, so this is the answer to this question. Okay, so now the acid soluble fraction that has been accumulated in the vessel represents cytoplasmic composition. Okay, or it has cytoplasmic composition. The acid soluble fraction which has accumulated in the vessel has cytoplasmic composition. It represents cytoplasm. Okay, the acid soluble fraction which has accumulated in the vessel represents cytoplasmic composition. Please remember this statement. Okay, and now we will talk about composition of a normal cell. Composition of the normal cell. What percentage of water is present in a normal cell? A normal cell has 70 to 90% of water. Normal cell has 70 to 90% of water, 10 to 15% of protein, nucleic acids are 5 to 7%, carbohydrates are 3%, lipids are 2%, and ions are 1%. Okay, so this is the concentration of the substances in a normal cell. A normal cell has 70 to 90% of water, 10 to 15% of protein, 5 to 7% of nucleic acid, 3% of carbohydrate, lipids are 2%, and ions are 1%. Okay, so with this we are finishing the topic of biomacromolecule. We have covered the topic of biomacromolecule, and we have also covered the topic of primary and secondary metabolite. I hope you have understood this topic well. Please watch the video 2-3 times, and then submit your homework in the group 2 times. Okay, submit your homework in the textbook 2 times. You have to write each and every video, the whole video. You have to understand first, then you have to learn from the textbook, and then you have to write in your homework book 2 times. Okay, so we will meet in the next video. Till then, bye bye and good luck.